Uh, Welcome students. In today's English class, I am going to explain you the poem Animals. It is composed by a famous American poet, Walt Whitman. The theme of this poem is very simple. The poet wants to join the world of animals because he finds that human world is not fit for living because there are so many vices that he observes in the human being. And as far the style of this poem is concerned, let me tell you, the poem has been composed in the form of free verse. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem, and it is just like you are reading a essay. This is like this. So let's begin. The poet says, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. Here the poet says that whatever he has observed in the world of human beings and animals, he finds that he should no longer stay in human world. He should go and stay with the animals. Further, he gives the reason they are so placid. They means animals. Animals are always very peaceful, contented, and self-contained. The idea is this: the animals are always looking very calm and peaceful. Perhaps they are enjoying the life. And one more thing about animals is that the animals never have the desire to get more and more. Whatever they have, they are satisfied. In the second line, the poet says that he has come to this conclusion not in a hurried decision. He has observed and he has concluded that animals are leading a better standard of life than human beings. Further, he elaborates his point of view. In the next lines, he says, they do not sweat and whine about their conditions. It is absolutely correct. Sweat and whine, you can say. Sweat means hard work, whine means complaint. In case with human beings, we can see around us that human beings are working hard. They are struggling day by day in their life to survive, to make money. And further, when some of human beings are failed in their attempt, they start complaining. But such things are not reflected in animals' world. So here the poet wants to tell us that animals are better than human beings. Next line, he says, they do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. Animals sleep, animals have sound sleep at night. And moreover, they do not pass life like us, that most of us are always thinking what they have gained in their life in a particular day, what they have lost. So in this thinking, we do not have sound sleep. Rare human beings get a sound sleep because all the time their minds work in what they have lost and what they have got. So Again the poet emphasizes the point that animals are better, and when something goes wrong, human beings regret for that. They weep for their sins, it is written here. Weep for their sins means human beings have the realization that they are they have done something wrong and they should improve it. So in doing this, they are losing each and everything. They have lost the peace of their life. Further, it is pointed out, they do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Here again the poet talks about the animals. He says that animals are far better, but as they never bring irritation or sadness in the mind of the poet. They never discuss anything. Animals do not discuss their condition, and therefore they are better than human beings. In case with human beings, what happens? All the time you can find people around you talking this and that. In this field they have got good success, in that field they are totally failed. So these success and failures have an impact on our life, and therefore finally we lose our peace and contentment. So this is about animals, they are better. And most of the human beings talk about their duties to God, that God has said to do this, and they should go to temple and they should offer prayer to God, all these things. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owing things. See, the poet is very much highly speaking about the animals. He says with conviction, with confidence, that animals are more satisfied than human beings. Not a single animal around him looks dissatisfied, and then they are not at all disturbed. Disturbed for what? They are not at all disturbed for having the madness for possessing more and more things. See, it is a natural tendency of human being to be selfish. Human beings want to be very self-centered. He wants to make his own progress, whether whatsoever comes in the way, he wants to remove it. So it is a kind of competition that is going on. So animals do not have this madness of possessing more and more material things. See, whatever we are making, we are living in a big bungalow, we are having cars, we are having gorgeous dresses. All these things are material things, and human being has gone mad for possessing these things. But in case with animals, these things are not so. They are satisfied and they are free from this madness. Further, the poet points out, not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Kneels means bending down. That is, the poet says that no animals bends before others. But in case with human beings, what do we do? Human beings, if they have to serve their purpose, they will flatter you, they will bend down before you on the knees. And so what happens? It shows that human being has reduced the level, reduced the standard of their living by adopting these qualities. And the poet says among animals such a quality is not found. And these good qualities, according to the poet, has been inherited by animals for the thousands of years ago. Means long, since immemorial past, they are having these qualities. Further, the poet highlights, not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. According to the conclusion of the poet, not a single human animal is found unhappy. Why? Because they are satisfied with what they have. And what about human being? Human beings do not have self satisfaction. He wants to have, he has a desire to get more and more. He has a sense of greed. Human being has become selfish, and all these things overall has made his life full of sickness and worry. Human being cannot enjoy the peace of life if he is stuck to these qualities. So now the poet is has come to the conclusion of the poem. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. So in many respects the poet says that he finds his relation to the animals, because as far the poet is concerned, he thinks that he has all these qualities, but all the other human beings does not have these qualities. So he is very much similar, his life is very much similar to the life of the animals, and therefore he wants to migrate into the world of animals, because animals are reflecting the qualities in the poet, good qualities in the poet. They bring me tokens of myself. They bring me tokens of myself, that is, animals are reflecting the qualities of goodness, kindness, gentle-heartedness, and these qualities human being too should have. But with the passage of time, with the growth of society, with the growth of cutthroat competition, man has lost all these qualities. So the condition of man at present is very deplorable, and the poet wants to migrate from this world, from human society. They evince them plainly in their possession. They evince them, animals reflect, show these qualities in their possession, that now these qualities, these good qualities which human beings should have, or in the earlier, in the past, these qualities were inherited by human beings, but as I have told you, with the advancement of our society, with the growth of our society, what happened? Man has been totally changed his direction from the right path to the selfish path. So he has forgotten them. Further the poet says, I wonder where they get those tokens. Here the poet is very much surprised that initially human being was thought to be the greatest animal. He was the social animal. But that feeling of being social is no longer found in him. He has become more and more greedy, more and more selfish in each and everything. So these qualities have spoiled the peace and harmony of his life. So the poet is full of wonder where they get those tokens. Very important thing for you to understand, children, the poem ends with a question. And you know, when do you ask the questions? When you have some doubt in your mind. So the poet has not given any final conclusion to his theme, to his ideas, that how this happened, how human being has lost those qualities, good qualities, and how those qualities are inherited by animals. So he says, did I pass that way huge times ago? He remembers, and we all know that our ancestors were our forefathers were our apes. So they were animals, and we are the refined or the evaluated, improved form of that. So those animals, our apes, from where we have been evolved, have those qualities, and we have forgotten them long ago. He expresses one more possibility. Either in the long journey of life, in the long journey of evolution, man has forgotten completely those qualities, or somewhere in man's struggle for survival in this world has made him careless enough, and he couldn't care for the good values, moral values, ethics, and he is involved, he is attached more with the negative qualities. This was the thing that happens with the poet, and therefore he doesn't give any final conclusion to the poem. Let's talk about the figures of speech used in this poem. First of all, first figure of speech I would tell you is that it is assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sound. Okay, the sound of I, you can see I repeat the line, I think I could turn and live with animals. So you can see here so many I's are used in the first line. So when the vowels repeat in a particular line in a sequence, this is called assonance. Let's talk about the second figure of speech. The second figure of speech is anaphora. Anaphora is the repetition of the same words in the consecutive lines. Just as, for example, I take the first 2-3 lines, I think I could, and again the third line start, the second line start, I stand. So I think, I could, I stand. This repetition of I makes us feel that it is anaphora. Third figure of speech used here is repetition. Repetition in what sense? Just as you can see, it is the use of they do not. It is anaphora also and repetition also. They do not in the third line, they do not in the fourth line, and they do not in the fifth line. So third, fourth, fifth line begins with the same words. So it is an example of anaphora. Here repetition is the repetition of I. You can see in the first line. It is an example of repetition also. The last and important figure of speech used in this poem is metaphor. Metaphor is an indirect comparison. So, 2 words as an example I am taking from this poem. The first word is token. Okay, tokens means qualities. The qualities which human beings would have, animals have got. So, tokens is the use of metaphor. Indirectly is comparing. And the other word here is plainly possession. These are the words which are used with metaphor figure of speech. So this is how the poem ends, and I hope you must have enjoyed the explanation of this poem. Thank you very much.